It is proving to be very difficult to win the battle against Pokemon leaks, especially when a picture like this hits the internet, because you know everyone and their mom is going to have something to say about this. They're going to share it, they're going to say real or fake, and then the information is going to spread massively, and unfortunately, the line between leaks and rumors has been completely destroyed. Pretty much everyone that was calling everything a leak is now just calling everything a rumor, even though it's the same uncredible, incredibly likely thing to be fake, but now the rumor is the new leak, and people are even calling this one a leak because it's coming from leakers of past Pokemon games, allegedly. So that's kind of the purpose of this video. I don't want to get my feelings involved. I don't want to look at this and be like, oh man, this looks cooler. Oh, this looks like something that'd be on the Nintendo Switch. I want to actually break down the sources of this information, what we can kind of extract from that, and also if this can be faked. Because remember guys, anyone can make a fake leak. Photoshop is out there, and because of the randomizers that are going on Pokemon Sun and Moon, people have just taken all the assets out of the game, and they can do whatever they want with them. So my thought is someone could easily remake this as either a playable portion of a game, or just kind of as a still screenshot, blur it up a bit in Photoshop, and then still make it look like something real. So let's go and break that down. So where this allegedly came from is from the Rainbow Rocket leakers. Now, Rainbow Rocket is a provable thing that happened in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which is why people are giving this a little bit more interest, a little bit more credibility, even though it's only allegedly from Rainbow Rocket, and we're going to break down why that is here in a bit. But pretty much, if you don't know, the Rainbow Rocket leak came out right before Team Rainbow Rocket was announced in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It sounds insane, but almost all of the information was confirmed except for new Alolan Pokemon. And yeah, look at this. It's, you know, it's true that all of them are coming back. That was kind of a tease about getting all of the villains to come back, the new battle facility, and then also RR standing for Rainbow Rocket. Now, the Rainbow Rocket leakers actually got this from the original Chinese Riddler from the Pokemon Sun and Moon leaks. So we had the starter final evolution leaks from Chinese Riddler, and apparently it's like a private group, and all these people work together, and then every once in a while some credible information comes out. Problem is, you can't verify that it's from them because it all has to be done incredibly anonymously, especially coming from the Pokemon Nintendo Switch. Like, Nintendo is not going to let what happened in the 7th generation happen again, so now the information is going to be harder to get out, and it's also going to be a lot more obscure where it's coming from. So that's something to keep an eye on right there. And also, the Riddler is allegedly upset that this came from his group. Now, we don't know what that means. Does that mean that this is actually real information and the Riddler is mad that it got out soon? But that's also why the Rainbow Rocket leakers don't want to take credit for it, even though they are being accredited to it. Because that means if they did it, the Riddler might kick them out of the group or be extra careful, and then we might not get any leaks for the Nintendo Switch game, which sounds like a great thing. A lot of people, they're done with leaks. They don't want any more of this stuff coming out, especially with the non-stop flood of garbage that is hitting not sub boxes, but hitting recommended feeds, and people just kind of getting burned out on fake Pokemon news. So people be okay with that, but the leaking community, it does not want that. And that's also even if the Riddler is still as credible as there's claims to be going into the Nintendo Switch. So kind of breaking down the history of this as we go into the next phase. So what this looks like is actually just like Nintendo 3DS running Citra, or maybe a new kind of shader and then played around with a bit, because unfortunately this doesn't look like a massive step up. This doesn't look like a grand Nintendo Switch kind of performance from Pokemon. You can just kind of take like a water scene from a Citra emulation, and then compared to this, the water texture looks pretty much the same. So effectively they'd be using almost the exact same assets that we've been seeing since the I think it was 5th generation, right? Because the 3DS Pro is using all the models that were in Pokemon X and Y and Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that was before Pokemon X and Y came out. So then we have like X and Y assets kind of being upgraded and stuff like that. So this actually doesn't look that great. However, this is technology, models, and hardware that people are currently using, therefore they could make something fake from this. And even looking at the Lapras sprite, it looks like the same Lapras sprite that we've been dealing with, maybe a bit more bulked up or kind of edited just a little bit, but once you throw something into Blender, you're kind of free to do whatever you want. And another thing to note is that not even Pokemon Go is sacred, that a lot of like Nintendo Switch games, they're having the assets kind of extracted, like there's models of Mario from Mario Odyssey that are floating around and stuff like that, all the Pokemon sprites. So I mean, you can effectively do whatever you want in Blender, which is a free modeling program. And if we have someone that's professional, if we have someone that's just screwing around for some lulz for April Fools, because oh hey, look at that, a couple days from April Fools, unfortunately something coming out on April Fool's could technically be legit to try to fake people into thinking it's fake. So April Fool's is like this weird backwards opposite day kind of feeling right now when it comes to information. But yeah, we actually have like the trainer models from Pokemon Go, and at first glance, I thought it might have been like the female trainer model because we have some similarities. We have a hat with a ponytail coming out, and then it seems a bit more slim than what we see with Pokemon Sun and Moon. So a younger like version of the Pokemon Go trainer is what it looks like, but it doesn't look like a direct Pokemon Go trainer model. However, again, models can be edited, re-rigged, and stuff like that. So a lot of what we see just seems like already existing assets. And one thing that could get really interesting is that what if someone just like ripped this from Pokemon Sun and Moon in a way with the Extreme Evo boost? Because another thing people are talking about, oh, Pokemon follow you. They even like hop on your back or they hop on your head like Eevee here when you go for a Poke Ride, even though that just looks like a standard Lapras Surf. Like, this looks so mixed and all over the place. Like, we got X and Y mixed in with some Pokemon Go, mixed in with some Z-move potential and stuff like that. But another thing to think about is that even scenery is not safe when it comes to Pokemon. That everything, when I say everything, has been extracted from Pokemon Sun and Moon, I mean everything. We actually have, like, all the battle layouts and stuff. Like, whenever you take place in a battle, we have the Ultra Space. We have all of the separate Ultra Spaces. We have all the routes. Everything is actually a model or background, and that can be extracted as well. So I'm wondering how far someone can push that, you know, just custom making a new looking area for a Pokemon game just to take a quick screenshot seems within the realm of possibility, especially because of like all the extreme randomizers, playing around with the models, reskins, and stuff like that. It is something that is likely to be faked on those grounds. So that's something I kind of want to keep in mind. Like when I first saw that, I'm like, this seems possible just for the average, well, not the average Joe, but someone with a slight amount of modeling skill could actually pull this off. I mean, we've already seen some pretty cool modeling projects coming from Pokemon Sun and Moon anyways, so that's why I'm like super hesitant right there. And then initially when I saw the picture, it didn't look like a Nintendo Switch, but I guess that's just proportion and stuff. I actually tried to replicate it as best I could by taking a picture of my Nintendo Switch, and yeah, it does seem plausible. I thought like the aspect ratio was a little off, and then when you look at a Nintendo Switch, the bottom side is really thin and the edges are kind of wide, but it looks like if you do take it from like a kind of lowish angle, it all fits. So I mean, it does look Nintendo Switch-like at the very least, but also that can just be photoshopped right there, especially if there's like a weird blur going on or some kind of extra filters, because yeah, I took that off my smartphone, so it's going to be a naturally higher quality. I don't know how someone would get a picture and not have it be on a something as compact as a smartphone, but you know, I don't know what's going on with all this protocol. And again, we've had these fake leaked images coming out of the Pokemon Company or coming out of translation hubs that have already been proven fake at this point, so not really too sure right there. And I think that's what I have to say about it. So that's how you can like work to draw your conclusions, not leading off this video with just pure emotions like, what do you guys think? Comment down below, real or fake? I think it's real, look how cool that would be, but at the same time, I don't know, it could be fake. Like, just playing both sides and calling it a rumor is just absolute garbage at this point. It's, you know, it's all just trash that everyone's gonna rush to, so I have to come in and be like the skeptical one of the Pokemon community when it comes to the information. Unfortunately, if this does turn out to be real, that means we are dealing with similar things that we've seen in the past. It's not, you can't really say anything about its plausibility until we have something else that adds to the rest of the rumors to give it more credibility, because right now it's allegedly this, allegedly that, coming from a past leaker that might be involved now. So that's kind of what we're saying right now, but my personal thoughts about it is I'm extremely disappointed. I would really hope that this is not what the Nintendo Switch Pokemon game is going to look like, because we've had all of these projects. You know, we look at Nintendo Switch, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon style Breath of the Wild would be one of the greatest things ever. Mario Odyssey, bit more dialed back on like the realism idea, but still very capable of having a more 3D immersive environment, because really when you think about it, that's what Pokemon should be about. That we shouldn't have Mario beating us out in 3D immersion, when if you're to go out into the real world and catch Pokemon, you'd be in that forest, you'd be in that setting. So just kind of making it slightly different, better graphics 3DS, when the 3DS hasn't been as well received as it should have been, not really that great of an idea. We also look at fan projects. You know, people are making 3D style Pokemon games. I mean, Pixelmon feels to have more of a realistic kind of Pokemon experience than what we see from this alleged Nintendo Switch leak that people have the tools and capability to remake right now. So I would really hope that this is not the case, for it being real unless there's something extra spectacular about it. And then that's another thing that we can kind of transition to is, like we've seen with many fakes in the past, is that they just kind of ride off each other. That there was that Chinese leak a while ago that some people started picking up and giving credibility to, even though it didn't really have any, is that, oh, it's going to be a remake, or we're going to have a reboot of the franchise, so going back to Kanto. And actually this does look like a Cantonian route. Route 21, just south of Pallet Town. We have like the island next to the ledge with the island next to the thing. But even that's like it seems like someone took the route, tried to remake Pokemon for this Nintendo Switch style, or at least with like they took Sun and Moon, they took Citra, and they tried to make a Cantonian route. Is this for a new fan game, maybe? Is this for a new extreme randomizer or something like that? Or is this actually going to be a part of the next game? Because again, like with the Nintendo Switch, we have the hardware capability. It's a console. We don't have to be limited. We don't have to have all these gateways and boundaries and stuff kind of locking us into an area. So I'd really hope that Game Freak would branch out. You know, Game Freak tried to do a lot, like they've admitted in interviews. They've tried to go out there. They've tried to do a lot more new and fancy things, like with Z-moves. Mega Evolutions. They're trying to go big on mechanics, and then they keep the boring core stuff, and then they add the things that people don't like. So, I'm not really sure how to feel about that. Again, it just feels like people are taking what they already know and then trying to make a fake off of that instead of just the pure surprise that Game Freak could deliver with the Nintendo Switch Pokemon game. Also, right before April Fool's. Like, we could see the announcement tomorrow. April Fool's, maybe even the 2nd, kind of get us on that heightened state of, oh, wait, what happened? That wasn't April Fool's? Who's going to come out and take credit for this? And then who's also going to show that they can own up to it? And then, like, going off of PokeJungle, because they were the ones that got the information. They were teasing it. They were building up this information. Hey, we have this insider thing, but we're not allowed to show it yet. And then the information ended up getting out anyways. So, Pokéride. I mean, when it comes to PokeJungle, I feel they're an absolute joke at representing Pokemon news, Pokemon leaks, Pokemon rumors, or understanding of how any of these things work. Like, it's not even my job to run a news site, imagine my air quotes here, news site like PokeJungle has, because, like, look at this, Pokéride. I mean, did we forget about Pokemon X and Y where you were riding Lapras for Surf Pokemon? You know, that just seems like what we have here. So Pokéride doesn't seem to be coming back, and the gear isn't there, so it just seems like standard Surf, which could bode for it being like a reboot or something like that. So bringing back those old things, following Pokemon, just because Eevee's on your hat doesn't really mean anything. Battles start by running into Pokemon. And that was another thing I want to bring up. It's like people just sprinkling in Pokemon models. That doesn't make it more difficult for someone to fake this anyways. It also looks a little too cluttered. It looks like this is a fan's interpretation of what the Nintendo Switch game could look like with modern hardware. So that's pretty much my breakdown of it, guys. This is one that I actually really hope, like, when it comes to fakes, you know, you can't have those personal speculations. Those things will catch your attention, maybe like quirk an eyebrow here or there. But when it comes to this one, I really don't want this one to be real. And I'd rather see some of the more captivating information that we've gotten out of the Nintendo Switch. But April's coming up, so we're dealing with potential Zeraora stuff, going into the movie, so on and so forth. And that's going to be it. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.